What an exciting way to start off APF. From Studio 1615, we found out Kevin Journey has a new legal advisor named Skipper Bixby, who will take care of all of Kevin Journey's legal advice towards the wrestling. He is in talks with the APF executives about his next championship defense. But to start off this action, let's introduce Gordon Mum. Interesting facts there. Gordon. We have Eric Jacobs taking on Ryan Baines because Ryan Baines would not stop eating a butter tart in the back, and Eric Jacobs, our anti-Canadian, asked him to stop and destroy that delicious butter tart. No, a butter tart is not butter on top of a Pop-Tart, Mum. I've heard of a feud starting over spilled coffee. This is not the weirdest match concept or feud there, Mum. Both men start this match, and Ryan Baines going after Eric Jacobs with a toe sweep, and Ryan Baines taking it to the knee of Eric Jacobs and a forearm to Eric Jacobs, and Eric Jacobs attempting, goes for Irish whipping him in the turnbuckle. Neck breaker to Ryan Baines. This matchup all because of butter tart. Good point there, Mum. Eric Jacobs. Sergeant Phoenix says she wants to challenge Eric Jacobs for the TV championship. Ryan Baines suplexing Eric Jacobs. Eric Jacobs getting stomped on. And Eric Jacobs, our TV champion, and a forearm to Eric Jacobs. But Sergeant Phoenix says she can take it from Eric Jacobs. But it looks like Ryan Baines is taking it to Eric Jacobs in this episode. Eric Jacobs holding that knee. His Mum puts it out correctly, and a slap to the chest, and a tilt-a-whirl suplex to Eric Jacobs. Eric Jacobs slowly getting up. Not much offense from the anti-Canadian. Ryan Baines taking it to Eric Jacobs. Irish whipping Eric Jacobs in the turnbuckle and putting Eric Jacobs on the top turnbuckle. I don't know if the thought of and a suplex from the top. The thought of Phoenix is in the back of Eric Jacobs' mind. And Eric Jacobs needs to get focused here on Ryan Baines instead of Sergeant Phoenix. If that is the case, eye rake to Eric Jacobs. Irish whipping him in the turnbuckle. Correct there, Mum. Gordon Mum saying some great advice there. And a diving fist from the second rope to Eric Jacobs. And stomping the elbow of Eric Jacobs. And a little bit offense from Eric Jacobs. Still in control there. Suplex to Ryan Baines, the TV champion. In control. But not for long. Ryan Baines sidewalk slamming Eric Jacobs and goes for the pinfall. Is that going to be enough? Oh, and Eric Jacobs kicks out. No, that is a legal move there, Mom, by Ryan Baines. And stomping the chest. He just had he didn't have the full connection there, Mom. And Ryan Baines Irish whipping him in the turnbuckle, putting Eric Jacobs on the top turnbuckle, looking for a superplex, and turning the anti-Canadian inside out and goes for the pinfall. And a kick out at 2. Still a fight from Eric Jacobs. Eric Jacobs getting Irish whipped now. And another Irish whip. And a splash to Eric Jacobs in the turnbuckle. And a knee as he's on the mat. And it slamming him in the knee. This crowd. Knee to the Eric Jacobs, and you're correct. The crowd is enjoying this. Chicken wing suplex to Eric Jacobs. Stomping the elbow. And both men on their feet. And a suplex to Eric Jacobs. And Ryan Baines probably looking for a Trident spear. Diving knee to Eric Jacobs. And Ryan Baines on one knee. Eric Jacobs laying flat. And it looks like Ryan Baines going for the pinfall. And a kick out at 2. Ryan Baines looks like what does he have to do? And Eric Jacobs getting out of the ring. And looking for a bat. This is just... Eric Jacobs had enough of this matchup and hits Ryan Baines in the head and causes Ryan Baines to win. And what does that mean here? You think that's unsportsmanlike conduct? Gordon Mom. And I'm getting told now our next matchup between Gemini Aries and Dilges Ludwig is a qualifying match for the number 1 contender for the prestigious championship that Kevin Journey holds. And this is part of Skipper Bixby and APF executives compromise. You think that's a great idea there, Mom? I do too. More action as a Russian here at APF, Dilges Ludwig. He's challenged for the prestigious championship against Kevin Journey at one point. And so is Gemini Aries, the runner-up in the prestigious tournament. Correcto Mundo there, Gordon Mum. Both multi-champions, yet to be a prestigious champion here in APF. For good luck, I suppose. Indeed, you are correct. This matchup set to go. And Dilges Ludwig, Gemini Aries staring each other down. And Dilges Ludwig, pump handle slam to Gemini Aries. And a forearm to the back. And a sidewalk slam to Dilges Ludwig. And we will have multiple qualifying matches in the episodes to come to determine our number 1 contender in a match yet to be named. And Gemini Aries in control of this matchup of Dilges Ludwig. And Dilges Ludwig now with a snap nair to Gemini Aries, and missing a forearm, and Aries in control. Irish whip, diving forearm. Gordon Mum correct about that as Gemini Aries gets tossed over the ropes, and Ludwig now getting out of the ring with him and suplexing him from the apron, and now rolling him in the outside of the ring. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. He has him headlocked and just rolling him around. That's what you would call that. Mom, oh, and a suplex on the outside of the ring. And now Aries in control, taking Ludwig, and the ref counting, and they realize that, and they slide back in the ring, and Aries now trying to take it to Ludwig and takes him to the ropes. Irish whipping him back over the top rope, and forearm knocks him off the apron, and both men back on the outside of the ring. And Gemini Aries leg drop on the knee of Ludwig. I don't see it that way there, Mum. Ludwig now gets back in the break up the count. And a forearm to Aries as he gets up. Ludwig knee to the back of Gemini Aries. Both men want this prestigious shot. And forearm, just fist to Gemini Aries. It's the forehead. And Ludwig picking up Aries. Irish whipping him in the turnbuckle. Puts on the top turnbuckle. Not quite, Mom. Tosses him from the top turnbuckle. Goes for the pinfall. You've seen that where? Never thought of that place. And now Gemini Aries getting worked on by his neck, and Ludwig tosses him to the mat. And Aries now on his feet. And clothesline from Dilges Ludwig. And Dilges Ludwig's tossing Aries to the mat and goes for the pinfall. And a kick out at 2. Ludwig working on the neck yet again of Aries. Tosses him yet again on the mat. You would like to see another rematch with Aries drop kicking him in the knee and goes for the pinfall. More of the midsection and that exchange there. And a figure 4 lock to the head. Wearing down Ludwig there. Aries now staring him down. Knee to the back of the head and goes for the pinfall. And a kick out at 2. Aries does look dominant here now. And a forearm. And a snap nair. Ludwig powering out of this headlock here. Hey, both men staring each other down. And Ludwig going for a suplex, but just drops him on his face instead. Ludwig goes for the pinfall. And a kick out at 2. And a kick to the back. And Aries looks like he's in pain. And Ludwig looks like he's ready for the Russian stunner. Hits the Russian stunner. And goes for the pinfall. And Ludwig advances. Qualifies for the number 1 contender match. Who else will we see in this qualifying match. And what will this matchup end up being? That's a good theory there, Mom. Mom, thank you for finding my hat. Ted the Ranger Irvin was feeling a little awkward, but now I feel a little bit better. So thank you, Gordon, Mom. And now our main event from Studio 1615. Healing Hands taking on Game Life. Interesting points there, Mom. Could Healing Hands take on Game Life, our new prestigious tag team champions? Both men say they want to be fighting champions. It looks like Dan Applestone, Wyatt Black to start off this matchup. And Healing Hands had an opportunity. Wyatt Black taking it to Dan Applestone to the knee of the back against Billionaire Boardwalk for the championship. But Billionaire Boardwalk, yeah, they were counted out. So Billionaire Boardwalk kept that championship, and Dan Applestone knocking Wyatt Black on the outside of the ring. Hopefully they do not get counted out yet again. But luckily this is not a title match. But I feel like Healing Hands should have gotten a rematch for the titles. Got a little bit screwed, but Dan Applestone taking it to Wyatt Black on the outside, and both men slide back in to break up the count. Irish whipping, Wyatt Black, and hip toss. And Dan Applestone taking it to Wyatt Black. Indeed, excited to be the new tag team champions with his partner Normatron. Irish Dan Applestone suplexing Wyatt Black. Oh, correct there, Mom. Like to. Normatron tagged in this matchup and pushes Wyatt Black away. And Wyatt Black forearm. And the knee of the midsection of Wyatt Black. And Normatron, on a roll here against Wyatt Black. And Normatron taking him to the top rope, suplexing from the top rope. And connects. Normatron goes for the pinfall. And a kick out at 2. Both men on their feet. Irish whipping him in the turnbuckle. Puts him on the top turnbuckle. Is Normatron looking for another suplex from the top rope. And connects. And a midsection kick stomping Wyatt Black. And a zigzag to Wyatt Black from Normatron, goes for the pinfall. You don't see that kind of move from that size, man, but he has the agility. Irish whipping him in the turnbuckle. And bulldog to Wyatt Black. And Normatron slapping the back half and sitting on the chest of Wyatt Black. And now both Irish whipping Wyatt Black over the top rope. And Normatron tags in Dan Applestone. What an exciting matchup we have here for the main event. Dan Applestone has Wyatt Black on the top. Flapjack slam to Wyatt Black from Dan Applestone. And a kick out at 2. And Normatron going after Kenny Johnson, who has yet to be in this match. Kenny Johnson was trying to stop that pinfall, and Normatron, and a belly to Wyatt Black. And then the leg drop to the throat of Wyatt Black. And Normatron and Dan Applestone showing why they are the tag team champions here at APF. And Dan Applestone going for the pinfall. And Normatron and Kenny Johnson breaking up the pinfall. And now Normatron suplexing Kenny Johnson. And Wyatt Black flapjack slam to Dan Applestone. And the forearm to Applestone, and Wyatt Black getting some life here in this matchup. But he has no partner as Kenny Johnson's on the outside. But he gets on the ring. And Wyatt Black in control of this matchup. Belly to belly. And there we go. Mom correct. Finally tagging in Kenny Johnson. And Kenny Johnson putting Dan Applestone on the top, and a superplex from the top, and that also hurt Kenny Johnson just a little bit. And goes for the pinfall. And a kick out at 2. And a kick to the back of Dan Applestone. And a DDT to Dan Applestone. And a leg drop popping up. And the congratulations goes out. Julio the Tank Tamale. Irish whipping Dan Applestone as he and his girlfriend just gave birth to Rayden. And Kenny Johnson in control. Snap nair to Dan Applestone. Dan Applestone hitting the back as Dan trying to get up. Kenny Johnson now in control of this matchup. Leg drop. Pop up. Kenny Johnson showing off. You're correct there. Kenny Johnson, the Rocket Man, here in APF. And a suplex to Dan Applestone. And a DDT that opens up Dan Applestone. And tagging in Wyatt Black, Kenny Johnson has enough of Dan Applestone and letting Wyatt Black try to take the win here, I suppose. And Wyatt Black now tagging in Kenny Johnson. A diving elbow to Dan Applestone. And consecutive elbow drops to Dan Applestone's chest. This crowd counting how many he's doing. And one more with some flair. Goes for the pinfall. And Normatron breaks up the pinfall. And Wyatt Black has enough of that and Irish whips him over the top rope. And Kenny Johnson now working on the head. Oh, and Normatron taking out Kenny Johnson as he was about to do a dive from the second row. Acting innocent. And a belly to Kenny Johnson from Dan Applestone. Goes for the pinfall. And a kick out at 2. Elbows to the head of Kenny Johnson. And Normatron tagging in. And Kenny Johnson Irish whipping him and drop kicking Normatron. Kenny Johnson now tagging in Wyatt Black. Yes, we will answer that question here. Miss Butterfly will take on Harper Lee next episode. Oh, Normatron going for the pinfall. All 4 men in this matchup. Normatron kicking Wyatt Black in the chest. And Kenny Johnson Irish whipping Normatron in the turnbuckle against Dan Applestone. And now Wyatt Black, Normatron tossing Kenny Johnson back up in this matchup. And Wyatt Black now in control, Irish whipping Normatron and bulldogging Normatron. Healing hands in control. And Wyatt Black Irish whipping Normatron. 1/2 the prestigious champion. Clotheslining Normatron. And going for the pinfall. You would have to think what would be next if Healing Hands beat Game Life. You think APF executives would do something like that, Mom? That sounds like a great idea in my mind. And Kenny Johnson in this match. And Normatron staring down. Kenny Johnson suplex to Kenny Johnson. Going for the pinfall. Kicking out at 2. The sidewalk slam to Normatron. Normatron tagging in Dan Applestone. You'd have to think about the Billionaire Boardwalk, though, in your plan. Where would you put them? Irish whipping Dan Applestone in the turnbuckle. And going for the top turnbuckle suplex. Connecting. And what about the Italian Connection? Who had a big win last episode. And Kenny Johnson going for the pinfall. Against the Billionaire Boardwalk. DDT to Kenny Johnson from Dan Applestone. A little bit life left in Dan Applestone. Goes for the pinfall. Kick out at 2. Indeed there. Mom. Correct. That move is devastating. And Dan Applestone looking for the Glacier. No. Kenny Johnson breaks the Irish whipping. Dan Applestone. DDT from the second rope to Dan Applestone. And that blood is in the eyes of Dan Applestone, trying to get to Normatron. And Wyatt Black in this matchup and drags Dan Applestone to the center of the ring. Wyatt Black goes for the pinfall, and Wyatt Black. Dan Applestone kicking out. And Normatron on the outside of the ring. Kenny Johnson taking out Normatron. And Wyatt Black staring down Dan Applestone, Irish whipping him in the turnbuckle. Well, you have to think about that too. Irish whipping Dan Applestone, Bulldog, Healing Hands. Started off this match not a little bit rusty, but now they are taking it to Game Life. Gordon Mom puts it the correct way. Kenny Johnson taking it to Dan Applestone. Irish whipping him in the turnbuckle. Putting him on the top turn. Looking for yet again a suplex. Suplex from the top. Yeah, these men take a lot of risk here in an APF. For these fans. Elbow to Dan Applestone. Prove they are the best. And Kenny Johnson fist to Dan Applestone and Dan Applestone just falling face first after those fists. Kenny Johnson sizing him up. Stomping the back of Dan Applestone. Kenny Johnson staring down Dan Applestone. And a reversal by Dan Applestone. Neckbreaker to Kenny Johnson. And tagging in the fresh Normatron in this matchup. And Normatron Irish whipping Kenny Johnson in the turnbuckle. And Normatron suplexing him from the second rope. What a main event indeed. Gordon Mom going for the pinfall. And a kick at it too. Kenny Johnson kicking out. Scoop slam to Kenny Johnson from Normatron. Second rope elbow to Kenny Johnson. DDT to Kenny Johnson. And a pinfall from Normatron. Will this be enough? And kick out at two. You would be correct there, Mum. Yes, he looks like to be sizing up for the Excelsior. Normatron. On the shoulders, Kenny Johnson connects the Excelsior. What won the championship in the first place, and that is it. Normatron, Dan Applestone, Game Life, victorious. They are on a roll indeed, Mom. Both men celebrating. What an exciting main event we had here at APF from Studio 1615. My name is Ted the Ranger Irvin. New broadcast partner, Gordon Mum. Any last words? I would agree with you there. Oh, really? Yes. We will see you all at episode